The Philippines stands at a crossroads, its future shaped by forces far beyond its shores. Caught between the competing interests of the United States and China, Manila must navigate a delicate balance of power, economics, and security. On February 2, 2026, Manila approved a sweeping new agreement with Washington. Far more than a trade deal, it's a strategic realignment that could reshape Southeast Asia's political and security landscape for years to come. As ASEAN chair, the Philippines faces mounting Chinese aggression in the South China Sea, where territorial disputes threaten regional stability and test international law. At the same time, there is growing uncertainty over America's security commitments, leaving many Filipinos questioning who will truly stand by them in a crisis. President Marcos Jr. is betting that deepening ties with the U.S. will secure much-needed economic and military support, despite fierce domestic opposition and public protests that highlight the nation's divisions. Yet this move also brings the risk of Chinese retaliation, economic, diplomatic, or even military, casting a shadow over the country's future. This deal is a high-stakes gamble, watched closely by the region as a test of how smaller nations can navigate great power rivalry and assert their own interests. Understanding this agreement is key to understanding Asia's future, as the choices made in Manila today will echo across the region for generations. The U.S.-Philippines relationship is shaped by more than a century of colonialism, military alliance, and shifting loyalties. From the arrival of American troops in the early 1900s to joint military exercises today, the two nations have shared a complex and evolving history. After gaining independence in 1946, the Philippines quickly became a key U.S. ally in Asia, hosting major American military bases for decades. But rising nationalist sentiment and a desire for greater sovereignty led to the closure of those bases in the 1990s, signaling a new era in the relationship. Tensions with China over the South China Sea revived security ties with Washington, yet President Duterte's dramatic pivot toward Beijing created fresh uncertainty as Manila sought to balance its interests between two powerful rivals. The election of Ferdinand Marcos Jr. marked a return to a more pro-U.S. foreign policy, just as the Philippines prepared to take on a leading role as the 2026 ASEAN chair, placing it at the center of regional diplomacy. Now, Manila must lead ASEAN through a series of regional crises, finalizing a long-delayed South China Sea Code of Conduct, managing Myanmar's ongoing turmoil, and countering China's growing influence, all while maintaining unity among Southeast Asian nations. The new U.S.-Philippines defense deal is forged in this context of historical baggage, renewed partnership, and growing regional responsibility, reflecting both old ties and new challenges. It's a pivotal moment for the Philippines and the region, a test of leadership, diplomacy, and resilience on the global stage. The 20,000 sword in Sanders on 2026 agreement is a complex and historic package, representing months of intense back and forth between Washington and Manila. It addresses both economic and security concerns, reflecting the evolving partnership between the two nations in a rapidly changing region. Under the deal, the U.S. will gradually phase out steep tariffs on Philippine exports, giving Filipino businesses greater access to American markets and boosting trade. In return, Manila agrees to adopt American digital standards, modernizing its tech sector, and to open up key industries to U.S. investment, encouraging innovation and growth. This economic alignment is seen as a strategic win for Washington and a much-needed lifeline for the Philippines, though it does mean ceding some economic sovereignty and control. On the security front, the agreement expands joint military operations and intelligence sharing, aiming to strengthen deterrence against China's assertiveness in the South China Sea. The pact clarifies U.S. defense commitments to the Philippines, but deliberately avoids establishing new permanent bases, balancing alliance needs with local nationalist sensitivities and public opinion. President Marcos faces the challenge of showing he's defending Philippine interests, while also reassuring Washington of his government's reliability and commitment to the alliance. Ultimately, the agreement is a careful compromise, bolstering defense and economic ties, but not without significant risks and tough choices for both sides. This deal sends shockwaves through the Indo-Pacific. For the U.S.-Philippines alliance, it's a much-needed reset, making American security guarantees more credible, but Beijing sees it as a threat, likely escalating pressure on Manila and increasing tensions in the South China Sea. Domestically, the agreement deepens political divides. Marcos touts security gains, while opponents decry it as a provocation and a sellout. ASEAN's fragmentation is exposed, as members pursue separate deals with the US or China, undermining regional unity. The Philippines' tilt toward Washington could secure its interests, but at the cost of ASEAN cohesion. The region faces a new era of volatility. The Philippines' decision reflects a broader trend. U.S. allies in Asia are forced to choose between security and sovereignty in an unpredictable era. The deal is an insurance policy. Manila trades some economic independence for stronger, but not guaranteed U.S. protection. The looming Trump visit to Beijing raises fears that a U.S.-China bargain could leave allies exposed. The pact strengthens the alliance for now, but uncertainty remains. Success depends on Marcos's ability to manage domestic opposition, and on Washington's reliability. The Philippines is on the front lines of a shifting global order, making choices that will shape the region's future. Stay tuned as this story, and Asia's balance of power, continues to evolve.